During World War II, there was a shortage of laborers to harvest crops. The federal government allowed braceros, or hired hands, to enter the United States from Mexico. They were supposed to work on American farms during the war and then go back to Mexico. However, when the war ended, many braceros stayed illegally. Many other Mexicans entered the United States illegally to find jobs. Mexican Americans suffered prejudice and discrimination too, even though they were citizens. When Mexican American veterans came home from the war, they wanted to be treated fairly. They formed an organization to protest injustices. Other groups worked to help Mexican Americans register to vote. Pressure from these groups forced California to stop placing Mexican American children in segregated classes. Mexican Americans began to have a nationwide political voice. Native Americans also struggled for equal rights. This struggle was complicated by federal involvement in Native American affairs. At first, the government had supported assimilation, or absorbing Native Americans into mainstream American culture. That forced Native Americans to give up their own culture. In 1934, the Indian Reorganization Act changed that policy. The government now wanted Native Americans to have more control over their own affairs. In 1944, Native Americans formed an organization to work for their civil rights and for the right to keep their own customs. After World War II, Native Americans got less financial help from the government. Outsiders grabbed tribal lands for mining and development. In 1953, the federal government decided to end its responsibility for Native American tribes. This termination policy stopped federal economic support. It also ended the reservation system and distributed tribal lands among individual Native Americans. One result of this policy was that many acres of tribal lands were sold to developers. As part of the termination policy, the Bureau of Indian Affairs also moved thousands of Native Americans to the cities. It helped them find jobs and housing. But this program was a failure. Native Americans did not have the skills to succeed in the cities. They were cut off from medical care, and they suffered job discrimination. The termination policy was ended in 1963.